Yo, what's up guys, it's me Jake here. Sorry I haven't posted for the past little bit. I died. Or well, I didn't, my camera did. So I had to order a new one, so that's why I haven't really uploaded or done anything like that. Sorry I didn't tell you guys about that. I kind of was busy and didn't want to worry you guys a bit. But I think I did by not telling you guys anything about why I stopped uploading for the past 2 weeks. So I'm sorry about that, but before we get into this video, leave a comment down below about some manga that you guys picked up in the month of April. I picked up a decent chunk, as you might be able to tell from this thumbnail and also the title. So I don't really have much time, so let's just get straight into this. If you've never watched one of my manga hauls, I split it up by publisher. So the first publisher I usually do is Viz, because I usually get the most from them. Even though this month it is very much dominated by Kodansha. And timestamps will probably show that, but the first volume I got was Dandadan Volume 12. I love Dandadan. If you've not read Dandadan or watched Dandadan, I highly recommend this series. It is one of the most funny new-gen action series that you'll ever read. Of course, it is some of that teenage kind of edgy humor, but it still gets me. So if it still gets me, and it might get you still, very much highly recommend this one. Very good. Next up is another one I rave about, and whenever I talk about it, I only give it good praise. Marriage Toxin Volume 6. I have yet to read this volume, but I've read the first 5, and it is probably my favorite new gen series that has came out. It is so good. I highly recommend this one. The art is phenomenal. Let me just show you a couple panels here. The art's phenomenal. I love the character designs. I love the plot. I just think overall as a series, this is just a very good comedy action series that if you haven't read already, please check this out, because it's only 6 volumes, and when it's about 20 or above, I know you guys are not going to want to check this out because it's too much to read at once. Talking about too much to read at once, Rory Dragon. How about don't read it at all because chapters didn't come out for 3 years? Well, I got volume 1. I loved what I read when it was coming out. I know it is actually releasing chapters pretty consistently nowadays, but I stopped reading once it went on the hiatus, so I haven't read a lot of the chapters that have came out recently, because I kind of want to wait for it to come out physically. I knew it would come out in English because it had such a huge popularity in Japan, just the first and second volume alone. So I just knew at some point it was bound to come to English, so very excited to see where this goes. I very much enjoyed it, and it's a very fun kind of fantasy slice of life. And when I say fantasy, I mean it very leniently. I mean, this is just a normal world where this girl is the daughter of a dragon. That's really the most amount of fantasy it is. But it is very good, and it is very funny. Another one, I know it's kind of basic, but I have to show it off because I got it. Kaiju number 8, volume 12. I love Kaiju number 8. This might sound very weird, but it gives me Gintama vibes, and not because of this actual series itself, but it's because of Kafka. I mean, they're the only 2 shonens that have 25-plus-year-old MCs, and that is just something that I think is very fun and very interesting to do. It's very different, because almost every other MC is between the age of 15 and 21. So, I mean, having someone that's almost 32, because I think Gintoki's 27, and I know Kafka's 32. So, having those older kind of pro tags is very interesting to me, and I really like those kinds of series, and I've really liked what I have read of Kaiju number 8. I've read the first 54 chapters, I believe. It's on my Annie list. If you've never seen my Annie list, it's in the comments down below. I've basically put almost everything I read on there. There's a lot of stuff I haven't put on there because it was on my anime list a way back, and I just was too lazy to import it. So, but it's pretty accurate with where I left off on series that I talk about in videos. So, yeah, check that out if you want to know where I left off on Kaiju number 8. The next 2 are a series that I'm going to be reading very soon, as it is right here. And that's going to be Kagurabachi Volume 2 and 3. Holy, do these volumes look beautiful. I love the art on these covers. I think it is so unique. As just a pure battle shonen, I love the design on these. I feel like it reminds me kind of Sakamoto Days, how he designs his cover art, and that says something because I think Sakamoto Days has some of the best cover art of recent manga, so that says a lot. We'll say the spines have a lot that they can improve on because it's just a very basic spine, but that's not on the creator, I bet. That's mainly on Viz, I really believe. But yeah, can't wait to get into Kagurabachi. I usually wait for a series to have 4 or 5 volumes before I even get into it, so I'm about to get into this when volume 4 drops, which I think is in a couple months, if not very soon. So very excited. I've only heard amazing things about Kagurabachi, and I can't say I recommend it because I haven't read it yet. So this series I'm going to show off in the next one, which are the last series I have to show off in my Viz section. I went to Newberry Comics, and I am subscribed, so it should tell me when it's buy one, get one half off. It didn't. But you know what? I learned it was, so I decided to get a bunch of these volumes. I got Goodnight Pun Pun, volume 2 through 4, because I already had volume 1 from a while back. Never read Pun Pun. I'm very excited to read it. I've only read one Inio Asano work, and that is going to be Solanin. I did not read the epilogue, but I've read Solanin. I really enjoyed Solanin, so I'm very excited for Pun Pun, but I've also heard that this is going to make me want to kill myself. So I hope I don't want to do that by the end of the series, but you know, we have to read it first before we see how it actually makes me feel. So we'll see. I'll make a video about it when I finish it, hopefully, maybe. Yeah, we'll see that. The last manga I have to show off in my Viz section is something I've been very excited for, because I read chapter 1 of another series this creator made a while ago, and I really enjoyed it, mainly because of the art, which he is known for, basically, but I read Innocent a while back, and now it's The Climber. This has been something that everyone's been asking for legitimately years, and Viz finally caved and gave us this license. These volumes, beautiful. I think Viz did an amazing job with these. The art, from what I've seen, phenomenal. I know I've only heard it gets way better. So I'm very excited to see what this is like. And since it's a SIG, it makes me very excited to see probably the gore that's going to be in this series, or the drama, because if you don't know, SIGs are usually the more older demographic kind of series that they put into there. So it's like the series that deal with like harder to like drugs and death and gore and all that stuff, they'll put into SIGs. So very excited to see why this is a SIG when it's just a rock climbing manga. So we'll see. But before we get into the next section of this video, I would like to give a shout out to MangaMart for shipping over a couple volumes. They did ask me what volumes I wanted to preface beforehand, so don't just be like, why did they just randomly send you 2 volume 4s? They asked me what I wanted within a price range, but I'm very excited to show you what I got. And before I get into it, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about what MangaMart is about. They're a small family-owned business that does 20% off retail, 25% off on pre-orders, and 30% off on box sets. Yes, I just said that correct. 30% off on box sets. Now, there's also no sales tax, and also it's free shipping with orders above $100. And let me tell you, when I opened this package, it had like Crunchyroll store level of packaging, which is very, very high level of packaging. If you've never bought anything from the Crunchyroll store, it is very good packaging. It's just like Right Stuff, the OG Right Stuff days, because it is the same company, but it is very good packaging. So I would highly suggest buying stuff from MangaMart, and if you do, use the code JakeThePog on any pre-orders and you'll get an additional 5% off, or use code BoxSetJake and you'll get an additional 15% off all box sets. So it's going to be 45% off box sets and 30% off pre-orders. Definitely highly suggest you guys doing that. And if you want, the link for MangaMart will be in the comments down below, and let me just show you the manga that they shipped me. So the first one is going to be Kamikatsu Volume 1. Long title, I know, I'm doing the shorter one, but I watched the first episode a very long time ago. And I actually watched the first 5 episodes, and I loved it. I heard the ending was kind of mediocre for the anime, but I hope that's more of the anime adaptation rather than the manga, because the manga covers and the art are just phenomenal. And I loved the comedy. I think it was one of the better isekais I've watched in the more modern era, aka the past like 2 or 3 years. So I would very much suggest this from what I have watched / read, which is like 1 chapter of the manga and 6 episodes of the anime, and I am very excited to get into this one. Next up is another series that I wanted to pick up volume 1 for, and that's 3 Exorcism Siblings. Saw the cover of this while I was scrolling through, and I thought it was a very interesting concept. I love the art style for it. I think the art is phenomenal. I love the character designs. I only have 1 hand, so I'm sorry if this is really poor, but yeah. Thought it was really cool and a very cool concept, so I want to give it a try. I do think this is only like 3 or 4 volumes, which is kind of perfect if you're someone that collects shorter series. I'll probably make a video on this too in the later run when I get the other volumes and read them. Hopefully I get the other volumes and read them at some point soon. Don't know how many are out right now. I think it's 2 or 3. I could be wrong. So hopefully it's very good. If not, well, crap. Next up, talking about Inio Asano earlier, I got Mujina Into the Deep. I've only seen screenshots of this, and I saw the cover and I fell in love with it. I want to get more into Inio Asano works because I've been like lacking. The only 2 I've read, I didn't mention that I read Girl on the Shore. I'm sadly read Girl on the Shore. That thing was probably one of the most disgusting things I've ever read. But like I said, I read Solanin earlier. But yeah, I really want to get into these other works like this and Dead of Demons and Goodnight Pun Pun like I purchased earlier. So I'm very excited to actually get into Mujina Into the Deep. Another series that's made by a creator I want to get into more, and that's going to be Dogs Red. I have the first 4 volumes of Golden Kamuy and I've never read it. I know, I'm just an idiot. In my anime playlist on Spotify, I have literally almost every opening for Golden Kamuy, but I've never read it or watched a single episode. Yeah, that's pretty bad. But Dogs Red, I love my sports series, so hopefully he does a really good job with ice hockey, because I think ice hockey is something so cool and could be done so well in a manga format. But of course, it's not nearly as popular in Japan, as it's not even that really popular in the US. It's mainly popular in like Russia and Ukraine and Yugoslavic countries, so I don't see why it would get that many manga, but it is such a cool sport. So yeah, very excited to see how Dogs Red is, and if they do hook ice hockey, good. I'm just going to blitz through the next three, because these are all just series that are continuations of series I've already had. The other ones are just like volume 1's a series I wanted to pick up, but the next three are going to be Go-Go Loser Ranger Volume 12. I've read the first couple volumes, and I think it is so interesting. The fact this guy made Quince is just so crazy, because if you read Quince or watched Quince, and then you read or watched Go-Go Loser Ranger, they are completely different. And doing that as a manga is so difficult. And I think every time I mention this, because it is just such a cool 180 to see the diversity that some of these mangakas have within their arsenal, and I think he does a really good job with it. I think, because I've only read a little bit of Quince, but I've read a decent bit more of Go-Go Loser Ranger, and being able to make two really good series and two very drastically different genres is insane. The fact that you can make two of the same genre would already be crazy, but making two of drastically different ones is so cool to me. And the next one is going to be Fragrant Flowers Bloom with Dignity Volume 4. I'm going to start this probably right after I finish recording this video, because I finally got Volume 4, so I'm finally able to actually start reading more of this, because I never read anything but Chapter 1, and like I say, once I get a series, I only read it once it gets like 4 or 5 volumes, because I don't think one volume is really enough to really judge a whole series on. So, very excited to actually get into Fragrant Flowers. I've only heard amazing things. And I also see art panels all the time, and I'm like, holy crap, this is one of the most beautiful like rom-com slice of life dramas I've ever seen. It is just so nice to look at. And continuing on with manga that have really good art, Full Night Volume 4. I think I've talked about this a couple times, but it is so good. I mean, I've read the first 2 volumes, and I think the art is just so interesting. I love the cover designs. I think this is one of the most unique kind of cover designs I've ever seen. And I'm just so excited that we finally actually have this series in English, because it took a really long time. And I remember just Zach from Uchu Shelf from a while ago, like 2020, begging for this manga. And it finally getting English print is just so sick. And I'm very excited to actually be able to get more into this series as more volumes are dropping pretty consistently. So very excited to get more into Full Night, as I'm only on 2 volumes read. So I'm going to go through the ones that I've gotten like 1 or 2 volumes from before I go into Kodansha, so I don't just overbear you with like 30 different Kodansha series. First one is going to be Empress. It's the only volume I actually got from Empress this month. It's going to be Togen Anki Volume 2. We talked about this a little bit too. I think it's a really cool concept of a battle shonen. It kind of actually just reminds me of Blue Exorcist a decent bit. It's a very similar plot to Blue Exorcist. Just imagine if Rin, instead of going to school with Exorcist, went to school with demons, and that's kind of the plot of Togen Anki. If I'm being real, that's just kind of what it is. I didn't really realize that until I talked to someone about it, and they're like, that's just Blue Exorcist if this was that. And I'm like, yeah, it kind of is, but it's really good. So very much excited for this, and I'm very excited for the anime. The trailer looks really cool, and I cannot wait for summer animes, because this season's stacked, but they already kind of messed up a couple anime for me. Like Kowloon, they're going way too quick with Kowloon, kind of pissing me off, but very excited for some of the ones that are coming out in summer too. Another publisher I only got 1 volume from, and that's Square Enix, and that's Dragon and Chameleon Volume 2. I'm not reading this until I get the next volume, even though I want to read it really bad. Like I say, I wait till 4 or 5, but this one I'm probably gonna wait till 3, because it's already not that long in the first place. I think there's only like 7 volumes out in Japanese anyway, so I might as well just wait for the next one, then binge it. I don't see anyone talking about this, so I don't know if it's good or bad, but this is made by an assistant to My Hero, and it kind of looks like it. If you really look deep at it, it's like, yeah, it kind of looks like My Hero a little bit. So, very excited. Very cool concept about a mangaka switching bodies with a different mangaka. It's really cool. I really think it's a very interesting concept that Time Paradox Ghostwriter kind of had, but a little bit better execution in terms of what I think the plot should be. from what I've read of the back cover of the first volume. And the last one from a publisher that isn't just miscellaneous publisher is going to be the Trigun Deluxe. This isn't the Maximum Deluxe, this is just regular Trigun. I saw it on Amazon for like 22 bucks. So I saw it and I'm like, it's as much as a Vandal skin on Valorant. I'm going to buy this because this is way cooler. Unless it's Guy's Vengeance, which I just bought. I know I was kind of saying I have like a lot of series from Kodansha, but I think I only have 5. And it's only because I have like 40 volumes for one series. So yeah. The first volume, if you guys don't know, my favorite manga of all time is Shuzo Oshimi. In terms of manga that have made multiple mangas, like if we talk about other mangas, it'd probably be Oda and Kentaro Miura. But Kentaro Miura, yes, he did make multiple mangas. I haven't read anything outside of Berserk. I know, fake fan. And Oda really has only made One Piece. But Shuzo Oshimi has made some of my, multiple in my top 10 with Happiness, Flowers of Evil, and Blood in the Tracks will probably be there when I finish it. So whenever I see a series by him, I have to pick it up. Now, I didn't even know what the hell this was. I just picked it up at Barnes & Noble's because I saw Shuzo Oshimi right there. Turns out, Toxic Daughter Chi-chan is a prequel to a movie. So I'm going to be watching a movie after I read this, I bet. Because I love Shuzo Oshimi work, so if he's making a manga about a movie, it's probably damn good. So hopefully I am correct. And hopefully this manga is good so I get a good movie to watch. We'll see. Next up is one that has one of my favorite cover designs as it's trying to mimic like a comic. And that's going to be Thunder's 3 Volume 3. I keep seeing everywhere that this is just the Gantz creator's Hiroyo Oku. And it's his pen name. And the more I look at the art, yeah, I see it. Yeah, I really think this is just Oku. Like, the way he draws characters is just so Oku-esque. And yes, you could just say like, oh, yeah, he's just a huge fan of Hiroyo Oku and just copied his character design. His art is just exactly like Hiroyo Oku. It's kind of uncanny. Like, the way he draws backgrounds, the way he draws characters. I think this is just Hiroyo Oku just trying to have fun with a manga series. And truthfully, I'm down for it because this is super cool. And the plot is kind of interesting. It's just some of these characters that get isekai into another world and they look like random, like, kid-drawn manga characters, and they go into this world and they're super busted. And the military's like, we have to destroy them. That's kind of cool. So, yeah, Hiroyo Oku, that's also Hiroyo Oku-esque. If you've ever read Inuyashiki or watched Inuyashiki, yeah, that's very Oku-esque. So, it probably is, if I'm being real. Now, the last volume I have that isn't in that 40-volume series is going to be Gachi Akuta Volume 6. For the first 5 volumes, and I'm going to tell you with one thing right now, when Volume 5 gets animated in that anime, people are going to go nuts just like they did for Goblin Slayer. Oh my god, there was a moment in that volume that made me... I was like, oh, I did not know that we're going into this. But they did, and, well, I was very surprised that they would put something like that in a shonen manga, but outside of that, pretty fire. So far, pretty fire, but yeah, that was pretty weird. Okay, I'm going to show the next series in 3 spurts because I have so many volumes, and they're all omnibuses. Wow, there's dust all over them. Probably see the dust in my camera right now. I don't know how many omnibuses, but 7 Deadly Sins. I mean, when I say 40 volumes and omnibuses, you should just guess 7 Deadly Sins. I got these on the Crunchyroll store. They were on sale recently during a Kodansha sale, and I went, yeah, I've been wanting to read 7 Deadly Sins. I know everyone was telling me that the ending was mid beforehand, but then I was told by one of my good friends that the ending was only mid because it had like a Naruto Boruto ending where it was only mid because there was no continuation. And then that there's 4 Nights of the Apocalypse. That's actually kind of fire, and that 4 Nights of the Apocalypse is also fire, and I was told that I'm gonna love Lancelot, and then I found out why I would love Lancelot, and because Bond's my favorite character in 7 Deadly Sins. Yeah, 7 Deadly Sins, I loved. I highly loved 7 Deadly Sins from like the first season and the first 2 seasons. I loved. I thought they were like 9s. I stopped watching before I watched season 3, and I've been wanting to read it because his art is phenomenal. I'm gonna get the other volumes beforehand. His art's just phenomenal. If you've ever seen 7 Deadly Sins, it's phenomenal art. And also, the omnibuses are sig size, so I wanted the art to be as big as possible. It was just like the same problem I had with the Berserk singles, is that Kentaro Miura's art's so nice, and then you just put them in like 7 C's volume size, like, it just ruined it. I'm happy they got deluxes, but now I have to double dip on deluxes because I'm not selling my singles. Does any of you guys know the story of how I got my singles? Yeah, I bought them right before they announced the deluxes. Yeah, so I'm not selling those because that just makes me very annoyed that I even got them in the first place. But yeah, Seven Deadly Sins. I've been very excited to get into the series. I've been wanting to read this for a very, very, very long time. And I love the whole story for Seven Deadly Sins. I loved. Now, I know Meliodas is a very controversial main character, but I still loved Seven Deadly Sins, even with him being the character that Meliodas is. I thought the characters were really cool. I really liked the power system. The fights were really interesting. And Escanor, man, Escanor was sick. And I also just love Bon. Bon is like one of my top 10 favorite characters in all of anime manga. He is so cool, and also just one of the best written characters in this series from what I've read and watched. So I did read a little bit a while ago, but nothing like crazy. But yeah, he's just, man, I love Bon. I don't know what else to say. That's my Kodansha section done. Let me just get the last section, which is just like miscellaneous publishers. If you guys don't know Paper Model Store on eBay, they always have a bunch of like sales for manga. And this is something I saw and I needed to pick up. It's going to be Countdown 7 Days. I saw all 3 volumes for like $20 or something like that. I was like, this is just such a cool looking manga. I love the 7 having a clock in it because it's like, you know, countdown, they're timed. I forgot who this is by. I'll leave it right here, like what series this creator made, but it's a pretty big manga creator. And it's like one of their first series, and I read the synopsis and I thought it was pretty cool. So I went and picked it up. Like I said, it was only like $20 for 3 volumes. So I mean, if I don't like it, it's only $20, and I could probably sell it for $20 again. So yeah, very excited to actually get into this, and I can't wait to see what it's about. Now, the last and final volume that I picked up this month, and one volume that I'm so proud to own, Dog Ningen Volume 5. Yeah, baby. Dog Ningen, one of the most peak series you'll ever read. I remember the original printing. I actually have the original Volume 1, which does just say the N-word on it. And people trying to sell that for like $400 during COVID because he got in a lot of trouble and had to change it to Ningen because there was a problem with the N-word on the volume. Yeah, I wonder why. Very, very interesting series and a very funny one at that. It's an American-made manga. The art is it's actually pretty good. If you're down for like the more like scrappy kind of looking art, I mean, it's pretty damn good. I thought so far the plot's very funny and I do like it. There is a arc literally called the school shooter arc, so if you're not into very edgy dark humor, you will probably not like this series. But if you are into like that dark edgy humor that like teenagers like, I mean, my brain is still like I'm 16 and I'm 21, so I still like those dark humor, edgy jokes sometimes, so I like this series, and if you're like that, you're probably gonna like this series too. But like I said earlier, this is the last volume I picked up this month, so that will be it for this video. Like I said earlier, leave a comment down below. That's some series that you guys picked up this month. Like I said, that was it. I think I got a decent chunk of a lot of the stuff I wanted, and I think Seven Deadly Sins is probably the thing I've been most excited to get for a very long time. So I'm very happy with that, and also the Goodnight Pun Pun. I'm very excited to actually read that. But yeah, like I said earlier, that was it. Also, sorry again for not uploading. I know, I'm sorry. I didn't tell you guys why I stopped uploading for a little bit, and I kind of feel like an a-hole for it, but I hope you guys understand it was just technical issues and I just couldn't upload or do anything. And I didn't want to put out some garbage content just for like 2 weeks. I'd rather wait for my stuff to come back and get very good content that I've made and feel happy about myself out there. So yeah, that should be it for me, and I hope I see you guys next time. Peace!